Congratulations, Kirk. You've passed all our physical and mental examinations. You're by far the most qualified to be the first man in space.
Well, gentlemen, it's an honor and a privilege. Now, I'm sure I'm not the only one wondering this, but how do we know it'll be safe for me up there? Certainly the levels of radiation alone are cause for concern.
Well, Kirk, we've of course done some testing to make sure you'll be safe. For example, just last month, we sent the first dog into space.
Huh, ain't that something? Where is this dog? I'd like to shake his paw.
We're sorry to report, Kirk, but Rascal didn't make it back down alive.
There is good news, though. She didn't die of radiation poisoning like we feared.
How did the old girl die?
Loneliness.
Dear God.
Don't worry, though. We didn't stop there. We also sent a monkey into space.
His vitals were impeccable, at first.
At first?
Well, we feared Ulysses would also suffer from loneliness, so we sent another spaceship with another monkey in it. The plan was to have the two dock together, but...
But what happened?
Monkeys don't make good astronauts, Kirk. They couldn't figure out the handle on the docking station, and they were both blown out of the airlock.
Why did you think they'd be able to work the airlock? Were they trained?
Of course they were trained. The problem is that the handle on the docking station looked a little bit too much like a banana. They all kept pulling it too early.
All?
Well, we tried this about a dozen times before we realized our mistake.
What a terrible loss of life.
it didn't end there.
What else have you shot into space?
Well, we wanted to send a fox, a chicken, a bag of grain, and a farmer into space.
We sent the chicken up first, followed by the fox. But the fox ate the chicken.
You wanted to send a farmer into space? Also, why does each animal in a bag of grain get its own spaceship, and why send up a bag of grain at all?
Oh, we couldn't very well leave it on Earth. The chicken would eat it.
Well, we eventually figured it out. We sent the bag of grain up first, followed by the farmer.
So you left the fox alone with the chicken?
Yes. What are you getting at?
Well, the chicken's probably dead.
Oh, right.
This all seems so senseless.
Look, the Ruskies have sent a veritable zoo up into space. We needed to keep up.
Okay, well, at least we know it'll be safe for me up there.
Yes, of course you'll be safe.
Wait!
What is it?
Send the farmer up with the chicken, leaving the bag of grain safely with the fox. Then, the farmer drops off the chicken and comes back down. He then takes up the fox, but then he returns with the chicken.
God.
Then, dropping off the chicken, he takes up the bag of grain, leaving it again safely with the fox.
He's doing it.
Then, the farmer comes back down, grabs the chicken one last time, and brings it up into space.
What if the fox eats the grain?
It won't.
How can you be sure?
What other choice do we have?
Grain, this is Houston. Do you copy? Over. Grain, Houston.